with Kimbrough, with Troy Sanders, with Ronald Blair and Deuce Robinson. Even though they're only sophomores, they saw triple option offenses 3 times last season. So, these are guys that have been there before. We've really got to count on them to make sure the younger guys are sticking to their assignments as well. Our coaches are all very, very adept at defending the option, and it will be a test for these young guys, but I think that with the experience we've got out there, and even though they're young, we've got a lot of speed and a lot of talent on the young guys. I think that if they're able to learn things on the fly, I think our defense is going to be all right. I would not be surprised to see the Citadel break off a couple of pretty big plays early as these young guys are really getting their first taste of the offense. But I think that in the end, this is going to be we've got a lot of team speed on our defense. There's going to be completely different than what they did week one, going up against Charleston Southern. And, compared to what they did to Georgia Southern last year, I think our team speed is very comparable, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us give up a little more yards than the Eagles do, just because it's not an offense we're quite as adept at defending as they are.
Right. And my take on it is coming up or going into the season, looking at the schedule, I really liked it for the fact that you alluded to, we play 3 triple option teams a year in the Citadel, Wofford, and Georgia Southern. I really like that we played Citadel first because I believe this is only their 3rd, maybe 4th year running the triple option. So they still haven't got a full team of recruits in there for the triple option. So they're still not going to be as primed for that kind of offense. And they're obviously still good at it. I mean, they just beat Georgia Southern. So, but they're not going to be as good at it as Wofford, who runs it year in, year out, and has been for a long time now. So they've got a full team geared towards the triple option. So I really like that we played the Citadel, and then we played the Wofford. After that, Citadel can, for lack of better terms, can warm us up for Wofford, who's very disciplined in how they run the triple option. They're very, very good at it. And then I liked playing Wofford before Georgia Southern, only because Georgia Southern they're also very disciplined, but they have more athletes. So I kind of felt like a Citadel was a warm up for Wofford, and Wofford was a warm up for Georgia Southern. Not to disrespect Citadel, Wofford, or Georgia Southern by any means, because they're all great programs. I just really liked how that lined up, and then when I saw the Citadel beat Georgia Southern, I was like, wow, maybe that's not the way it's going to be. So I really think the key to this one is going to be how Deuce Robinson plays. Last year down at the Citadel, we did switch to a 4-3 look for a majority of the game. And so I think a lot of that is going to be how Deuce Robinson plays, assuming we do go back to a 4-3. And I believe every triple option we played last year, we went to a 4-3. So I think that if Deuce can get back to what he's used to, and hopefully he can, since he's only played 2 games as the Bandit linebacker, and we truly go to a 4-3 again. A lot of that was, I think, because we were used to a 4-3. Defending the triple option, since last year was our first year going to primarily a 3-4 look. So either way, it's going to be Deuce Robinson is going to be the key to this one, only because he's got to contain the edge, like you said. He's got to make sure that pitch man has nowhere to go, and if he does get the ball, he does not miss that tackle. And the other thing is going to be limiting or not getting confused by the motions. They run a lot of motions. They run a lot of misdirection, like you and I both said, Mike. So it's going to be not getting confused by that. And the thing that I like about us going against the Citadel is our linebackers. We have Kimbrough and Greer, who've faced them 3 times a year for 3 years now, and both of them are All-American candidates. So they're going to be able to defend it well, I believe. And then you got Troy Sanders as safety, who's going to be able to come up and run support if needed. And our secondary, I'm really not too worried about our secondary. I know they're young, and they're definitely going to look in for the run, but I think our leaders in Kimbrough and Greer are going to get the secondary right. They're gonna get the secondary ready. I'm really not too worried about them. I hope that doesn't come to bite me by saying that. But I don't. I mean, like you said, they've only thrown the ball 14, 15 times in 2 games. So I'm not worried about it in the least bit. I mean, with the triple option, it's run to basically kill the clock. So yeah, they might get a big play or two, but running to kill the clock that against a team like App who loves to score and just score and score and try to get as many possessions and run as many plays as possible, that kind of hurts them killing the clock, because if they get a big play, then if they don't score on that big play, they still have to grind out that clock in order to score. So it's kind of a two-sided sword there in that sense. And I'm really not worried about our defense against this at all, just because we do have experience playing against it.
And one thing to point out as well in terms of our defense against the triple option, as you mentioned, we might see a lot more of the 4-3 looks. It will be very interesting to see how they come out, because obviously we have Deuce Robinson, who has experience as a down lineman. They could certainly bring him down and have Deuce Robinson and Devontae Harris on the edges, and then Burns and Blair on the interior. That would be a great front four. And then in terms of the linebackers from there, they could either eliminate the star position, they could bring in a guy like Brandon McGowan to serve as that third linebacker.
Exactly.
Or they could have Joel Ross come in from the star position and play more of the linebacker, play a little more of the linebacker role. So there's a lot of different looks they can get them, and I think that's something else that, from the Citadel standpoint, we don't know, and the great thing is that they don't know either. They're not sure exactly how we're going to line up or what kind of personnel we're going to throw at them. I wouldn't be surprised to see us, the chess match of this game is going to be interesting, because the Citadel, they run that triple option, they want to go misdirection, they want to fool you, they want to trick you, and if we're able to kind of counter that with giving them a bunch of different looks so they don't really know what personnel they're trying to fool, that's going to help us out a lot as well. And in recent years, at least, our performance, for whatever reason, our performance at home against the triple option has just been absolutely night and day against what we've seen on the road. You take last season into consideration, Georgia Southern it came to the Rock undefeated, ranked number 1, and we held them to well under 200 yards rushing, 17 points, and at that point they were averaging somewhere, I believe, north of 40 points a game and north of 300 yards rushing a game. We came in to just absolutely shut them down. But then you look at our 2 road performances. We went down to Wofford, and they took it to us and beat us by 2 touchdowns. And we went down to the Citadel, and even though we ended up winning that game, they put 42 points on us, and we almost blew a 49-14 lead. And then you go back even, a year before that, we faced the Citadel and we faced Wofford at home, and we shut both of those teams down. We beat both of them convincingly. But that same year, we went down to Statesboro and lost, and that was when we were number 1 in the nation, undefeated. So the last couple of years, the way this team, in facing the 3 triple option teams in our conference, we've struggled on the road, but we've looked really good in our home. In our home games against them, and particularly against the Citadel, it has been absolutely night and day with them. They, like I said, almost came back from a 5-touchdown deficit in the second half last year against us in Charleston. And 2 years ago, in 2009, we had a great team, and we beat them by 3 points in overtime. But then you look at the games that were at home, and over the past 4 years, we've beaten them by I believe an average of 27, 28 points at home the last 2 times we've played them. They haven't won in Boone since 1992. We've really defended them very well on our home field, and so I think that I think that's something that is at least worth mentioning. Whether how much of that is the defense just feeding on the crowd, and how much noise we're going to be making on the third down plays, or the heat down in Charleston Charleston, whatever it might be. I can't put my finger on it. I'm sure if the coaches could, they'd figure it out and do it on the road too. But for whatever reason, we always seem to defend these triple option teams a whole lot better at home than we do on the road, and I'm really hoping that carries over this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and you and I were talking earlier when were prepping for the show, saying that Citadel at home is a completely different beast than Citadel on the road. For whatever reason, they always perform so much better at home. Again, whether it's the Heat and Charleston, whatever it is, they, at least against App, they always play us so good at home and do fairly poorly at in Boone. So hopefully, again, like you said, hopefully that stays true, and we can still win. We can win this and get a huge win in the SoCon race, especially since they just beat the preseason favorites in Georgia Southern. So if we can get that one game lead against, I guess now both Citadel and Georgia Southern, if we win, that would be huge. So as always, we will end the show with a prediction from both of us. I'll go ahead and start first. I really think if we can score quick and early, I think App's going to win in a blowout victory. The key to stopping a triple option offense is get them out of their comfort zone. They like to run the ball, pound the ball, get 3 or 4 yards at a time, and just kill that clock. So we had to make them get out of their comfort zone and throw the ball a lot more than they want to. So if we can score quick and often, they're going to have to throw the ball in order to catch back up. There's no other way around it. So I really, really think that that's going to happen. You're not going to stop. You just can't stop our passing attack. I think if we win the toss, we go ahead and take the ball to start with. And just score and just get Citadel to have to score real quick. However, I'm not going to be a complete homer with this pick and pick a blowout officially. I think it could happen. I think it will happen. But I'm going to say that the App's going to win with a final of 35-21 by a 14-point margin. And Citadel they're a much improving team. And they're going to put up a fight. I really think they will. And so I'm going to say 35-21.
Yeah, I agree to some extent. I do agree with that. To be honest, I would be a little bit surprised if this game was a blowout, just based on the fact that they're coming off a big win against Georgia Southern. They've got a lot of confidence. They played us tough last year, but as I said, the roles always seem to change a little bit when when they come up to Boone and play. They've really struggled up here the last couple of times, but at the same time, the last couple of teams they've brought up here have not been nearly the same quality as what this team appears to be. And I think it will be a close game. I think. As we've said pretty much every week, the key is going to be how well can we move the ball on the ground, and this week, obviously, how well are we able to stop their ground attack? I do agree with you. If we're able to get out and we're able to score early and we're able to score quick and get a lead on them, and we put ourselves in situations similar to what we had against Montana this weekend, I don't like their ability to come back nearly as well as Montana, because they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more than they want to, and that really plays into our hands and really is going to get them out of their comfort zone. But I'm not picking against us this week. I think that just similar to the confidence that the Citadel is going to have after that win over Georgia Southern, what we were able to do against Montana for a young team really is going to give them some added confidence. I think they'll have a little swagger playing at home in front of the home crowd after such a big win. The last thing that they want to do, if anyone read the letter they sent to all the fans this weekend, the last thing they want to do is follow up that big win with a loss to start conference play. I like us to come out on top. I like us to win this game. Citadel's not won, as I said, in Boone in 20 years. I hadn't won here since 1992, and I'd like them to break the streak this year. I think Appalachian, in the end, even though I think Citadel is going to give us a run for our money, I think it's going to be too much Jamal Jackson, too many talented wide receivers for them to stay in front of, and I just don't think they're quite going to be able to score with us. So I'm going with final of Appalachian 35, Citadel 28. It's not out of the question that we win by a bigger margin than that. But I'm thinking that we're gonna win this game by 7 and get the SoCon season started off on the right note. So I'll go with a one score